Yo, and welcome to Politics as Usual. We are so glad you could join us for this episode. 4 reasons why the future of capitalism is homegrown, small scale, and independent. We're going to fire up the old MacBook Air, my mid 2012 MacBook Air with the Ivy Bridge chipset. And it will speak and read this article, and in the show notes, a link to the article. How much of the article will it read? Let's find out now.
You won't learn about it in business school, hear about it from Wall Street, or see it in Palo Alto. But if you spend time in Bushwick, Brooklyn, or on Rivington Street in Manhattan, you just might detect the outlines of an emerging indie capitalism. This new form of capitalism is not just about conventional startups and technology and venture capitalists. If you add up all the trends underway today, I believe we are beginning to see the start of something original, and perhaps wonderful. It may prove to be the economic and social antidote to the failed financial capitalism and crony capitalism that no longer delivers economic value in terms of jobs, income, and taxes to the people of this country. It's too early to define the exact shape of this latest iteration of capitalism, but what indie capitalism appears to have is a distinct sensibility. Let's take a look at a few key features. Indie capitalism is local, not global, and cares about the community and jobs and says so right up front. Good things come from and are made locally by people you can see and know. The local focus makes indie capitalism intrinsically sustainable. Energy is saved as a result of a way of life, not in an effort to reach a distinct and difficult goal. Indie capitalism is socially, not transactionally, based. It's not just internet social, involving 5,000 friends, but personally social. Take Kickstarter, for example, where people fund the music, books, and products that they can watch develop over time. In this model, consumer, investor, audience, fan, helper, and producer conflate. People find and prepare their food the same way they find and prepare their music. And then they share it all. But before they show and tell, people make. Indie capitalism is, above all, a maker system of economics based on creating new value, not trading old value. It embraces all the strains of maker culture, food, indie music, DIY, craft, 3D digital fabrication, biohacking, app enabling, CAD modeling, robotics, tinkering. Making is not a rare act performed by a few but a routine happening in which just about everyone participates. Making and using tools are part of a meaningful existence, and tools shift from a ritual presence to a practical role in everyday life. Having great tools and making great things begin to replace consumption as an end in itself. Why Eden plus Kennedy get it with their ads for Chrysler. The imported from Detroit signals the shift in sensibility to local. And the things we make us tagline for cheap gets the new make culture. This has always been a nation of builders, craftsmen, men and women for whom straight stitches and clean welds are a matter of personal pride. This, our newest son, was imagined, drawn, carved, stamped, hewn and forged here in America. And Dan Provost, who, with Tom Gerhardt, launched his Glyph iPhone camera stand on Kickstarter, perfectly sums up the new outlook. One thing that has greatly pleased Tom and I about the success of this project is its inherent simplicity. We are just two guys who made something people want to buy, and then we sell it to them. No middlemen, no big corporations, no venture capital, no investments. I think beyond the interest in the glyph itself, people like to know where things are coming from, and the story behind it. Another indie capitalism characteristic is a heightened meaning embedded in materials and products. Making fewer things of higher quality and utility is important. Reusing and sharing really good stuff is valued. The touch and feel of things, from Apple products to vintage Levi's jeans to beautifully made, but unlabeled dresses, are important. The entire notion of brand is upended in indie capitalism, superseded by the community surrounding the creation of a product or service. Authenticity is the brand in many cases.
There you go. I have a website called Cybernetics. It's on my one of my Scoop It pages, and I talk about how the 0.0001% intend to kill us all once they have cybernetics into place. And cybernetics is sentient digital technology. It's sentient robots, sentient internet, where you can look up Internet of Things. They're going to hook up smart devices to the smart grid, the smart internet, and things will communicate that way. A humanoid or a replicant robot will automatically be connected to this network, this internet. It won't be dialing up. It won't be logging on. It will just always be on. And these replicants will do work for the 0.001%. And since they hate us now. They're tired of producing for us movies, entertainment, propaganda news, creating jobs for us. I mean, that's what all this Republican bullshit is about, and what Obama is about, and what the new politics has been about for the last 45 years, is that the rich are just simply tired of creating things for us. Jobs, movies, TV shows, news propaganda, things to keep us busy so that you'll stay out of their way. They just want you to consume and let them go about their business. But they have to take time away from their leisure to provide jobs and clothing for us and automobiles. Coming online for them is 3D printers. They won't have to hire a factory of human beings, because with 3D printers, they can just make one of an item. Like in Star Trek, they walk up to the replicator, they say, I'd like some Earl Grey tea, and there's a cup of Earl Grey tea. In the future, in the real future, the 0.001% will walk up to a 3D printer and say, I want a car, and it will build them a car, and the car that it builds will be a self-driving car. The 3D printers, along with the replicants, will build a house or build anything that these 0.0001% of the wealth of the world want. They don't need us anymore. They don't need our labor. They don't want our company. They'll have each other. And when I'm talking about the 0.0001%, I'm not talking about the elite of humanity. In most cases, and many cases, this is the dregs of society. The butchers, the thieves, the mass murderers, the serial killers, the psychopath. And our system of capitalism, as it has been made by them, for them, it is a sick crony capitalism in which they can get wealthy and they can steal from the poor and give to them. That's the society they have created, because that's the society that benefits their personality type. But here, in this place, is a ray of hope, and that ray of hope is this new indie capitalism, why the future of capitalism is homegrown, small scale, and independent. If, and only if, you and I take control of our lives and of our economy and of our earth. Only if you and I are willing to step up and be the hero for ourselves, the hero for our families, the hero for our community, the hero for our state, the hero for our nation, the hero for the world. It's going to require not a centralized hero like Batman or Spider-Man or Superman. These are the myths that corporate want to, that are owned by the 0.00001% wants you to believe in. But you are the hero, and we can be each other's hero, and we can organize into hero organizations and circles and communities and states and nations and the world. We can globalize empathy and compassion and cooperation. The 0.0001% have globalized hatred and bigotry and war and disruption and poverty and illness, disease, starvation and homelessness. That's the things that they have globalized. And we need to step up. And we don't have much time. We have about till 2030 before they have everything in place where they don't need us anymore and they can begin to get rid of us. They are, in their agenda, planning to get rid of all of us by 2052. And we still have time. We still have time to keep our family, our loved ones, our community, our state, our nation, and the world safe from these cold-blooded killers. And they're going to get rid of us. If you think Nazi Germany was a Holocaust, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I do encourage you to embrace this indie capitalism, this creative culture. As long as we depend on the corporation owned by the 0.0001% for our jobs, for our money, for our housing, for our entertainment, for our news, for our life. They control our life. You go home from work. Can you go to Las Vegas and spend a couple days? No, you have to be at work tomorrow. So even on your supposed off time from work, you're still working for them. Well, you're working for them for free because you go home, you know you only have a couple of hours before you got to go to bed. And you got to go to bed so you can be fresh in the morning to go back to work. They own you. They're farming you. You're a farm animal. And you can. Unlike some farm animals, and we need to free the real farm animals. But we are farm animals. We are being farmed. And we need to free ourselves from this farming. We are slaves. We are wage slaves. You know, the Constitution outlawed compulsory slavery, but not voluntary slavery. Voluntary servitude is what it's called. But how can you be voluntary servitude when you need money to get your house, your car, your food, your water, your electricity? And all these things have been built up, and the 0.001%, they have built their spectacle, their idea of capitalism all around us. There's no place for us to move to. You know, when the 0.001% took over Europe, we fled, those of us with independence, our ancestors. We're the descendants of independent, sovereign individuals. And they had a place to run to. They ran to North America. But the 0.0001% let us go to North America. They let us settle North America. They let us hone North America. And then they come over here and took it all away from us through deceptive thievery, through crookedness and lies and cheating. And they took this country for themselves after we had fled them. And now they had arrived and they gradually took over our freedom and turned our freedom into slavery. So I encourage you to join this new movement, this movement of the indie capitalist. It is our only hope. Instead of merely standing by idly and let the 0.0001% own the future, we need to own the future. You and I and the rest of us in the general population. It's either going to be one or the other. Either the 0.0001% are going to own the future and destroy us all, or those of us 99%, those of us of the 99.99% are going to own the future and everyone survives. That's our choice. That's where we are. And you can go back and watch television. You can go back and watch the 0.0001%'s corporate TV. Watch their soap operas and their dramas in the evening and their sports. And go to their jobs. And go to their church, their religion that they provided for you. And all the things around you that drive their cars. Or we can take back our lives. You know, the Tea Party says we're going to take back this country. Well, you can't take back this country when you haven't even taken back your life. When you go to a Tea Party rally and you're driving a corporate car, that corporation owns you. Those corporations own you. When your house was built by a corporation, corporations own you. When you're watching entertainment provided to you by corporations, you're owned by the corporation. When you get your news from a corporation, you're owned by the corporation. When the money in your pocket, God damn it, is corporate money, it's corporate script. That doesn't say a US dollar on your money. On a $1 bill, it doesn't say a $1 US dollar. It says a $1 Federal Reserve note. It's a corporate dollar. Corporate script. They own you. And here, finally, is a chance. Through the very technology that they want to take us over with and get rid of us with, we, if we stand up, can use the same technology and give everyone more freedom, more health, more food, more housing, more of the good things in life. No more scarcity. Scarcity is enforced by the corporate dollar. And as long as you got the corporate dollar in your pocket, you are a slave to the corporation. We can break free. Look up with Google, indie capitalism, creative culture, creative capitalism. We need to take back our lives. And this is the moment. We have to about 2030 before the end starts. But after 2030, you can kiss your ass goodbye. And if you're not willing to step up and protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, your community, your state, your government, your nation, your earth, and everyone in it, then please pass this podcast on to someone else, or send them a link so that they might join in the struggle for true freedom, a true democracy of the people, for the people, and by the people. Thank you for listening to Politics as Usual. It's long past due that we stopped this politics as usual and brought in a new day of sovereign, independent individuals. You've been listening to Politics as Usual.